Hey guys, hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Kshitij, aka the Rustic Wanderer, and welcome to the Rustic Kitchen. In today's video, we're going to be cooking the khichdi, or some people also call it the dal khichdi, which is very good for digestion or in case if you're feeling sick. So let's get started. So the main ingredients for khichdi are just rice and lentils, and they are cooked with a little extra water compared to regular rice. And the idea for making khichdi is that it is easy and light to digest, and it's very easy and quick to make as well. All you need is rice and any variety of lentils that you have at home. So here I have the mung beans and I have the tur dal. If you have other varieties of lentil at home, you can even use that. So the way this recipe works is that you take the same amount of quantity that you use for daily cooking. For example, if you take one bowl full of rice, all you have to do now is to keep 3/4 of the amount of rice, and for the rest of the 1/4 you replace that with the lentils that you're going to put in. And remember, the proportion needs to be 75% rice, 25% of lentils, including all the lentils that you want to throw in the mix. And you want to have only 25% of the lentils, otherwise the taste of the lentil gets overpowering and the dish gets taste really weird at the end. So the first step would be to take the quantities and measure them in a bowl of your choice and wash everything, including all the lentils and rice that you're going to use for cooking, and soak them in water for about 30 minutes or so to make it easier to cook, because the point of this is to have the rice and the lentils cooked to such an extent that it becomes almost like a paste. So in some sense it is a bit overcooked because you add extra amount of water in this as well. This is the reason why it is easy to digest, as in case if you're sick or if you have a bad stomach or so on. So we're going to start taking the contents in a bowl and start by washing them first. So while we rest the rice and lentils and let them soak in the water, here are the basic ingredients that we need for making the khichdi. We need diced onions. I've taken bay leaves and cloves, some green chilies, 4 tomatoes. I've also taken a drumstick. This is a vegetable that comes from India. Most of the Asian Indian supermarkets should have these. Ginger garlic paste. In terms of the spices, you're going to need the basic spices: turmeric, red chili, salt to taste, coriander powder, and cloves and bay leaves are optional. If you have them, you can put them in. It gives a nice aroma and nice flavor. And in our pan, we have taken 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of desi ghee, cumin, mustard seeds, and hing. If you're making the vegan way, you can swap out the ghee for regular vegetable oil or mustard oil. So now we're going to dice the onions and green chili and throw them in first, and then comes the tomatoes, drumstick, spices. The bay leaves and cloves, I will throw it in when I'm boiling the rice and the lentils. So I'll let you know when I do that. So we have diced the tomatoes and we have also diced the drumsticks into 2 to 3 inch stubs, as you can see here, these ones. And we have added a little bit of water. And I'm going to add this magic spice Everest Sambar Masala inside as well. This is purely optional. If you have it, you should try and add it because it gives it a really nice flavor. If you don't have it, it's totally okay. You can use whatever basic spices you have. And it's also the time where I'm going to throw in the rest of the spice mix that we had prepared already. And I'm going to give it a nice mix and let it cook. It's also at this time I'm going to add the ginger garlic paste, and then we're going to start preparing the rice lentil steaming mixture. And then we're going to start boiling the rice and lentil mix that we left aside for soaking in the water all this time. We have transferred our masala to the smaller stove behind and reduced the flame to low and let it cook for a while on a low heat. because the drumsticks are going to take a while to cook properly. And we have transferred our lentil rice mix with 2 bowls of water in this pot that we're going to cover with the lid. And we're going to cook it as you would cook rice. Only this time you have to take excess amount of water to make sure it becomes like a complete paste. Normally in India people would have used basmati rice for this, but I prefer using brown rice to make it healthier. So let's cover it with a lid and let it cook. So in about 1.5 hours, it should be pretty much ready. So let's take a look at what we have got. So as you can see, the rice and the lentils have cooked properly. They have come to a bit of a porridge-like consistency. It's a bit browner than before already because I've used brown rice, but I've also sprinkled cinnamon powder inside, mixed it with the water while it was boiling. Remember that if you're using brown rice, it takes quite a lot of water to bring it to this consistency. So I've had to add water 2 or 3 times more while it was boiling. Otherwise it prepares like regular rice and you don't want that. It needs to come to a porridge-like consistency for it to be called a khichdi. Otherwise it's just dal rice separately. So for the final stage, we have to mix the masala with the khichdi, stir it well, and then start preparing for plating the dish. So as you can see, after mixing all the masala, the khichdi looks beautiful. There is the drumstick, there are the bay leaves, cloves, and everything mixed together in here. There is a nice aroma because I use ghee while cooking. So now the most important thing, the serving suggestions and how it can be best enjoyed. So again, as you can see, I have the box of ghee next to me. So you're supposed to sprinkle a little bit of ghee on top as well. Again, just when you're ready to eat. And normally in the winters, I pair it with papad or papadoms. These are the ones that you have to cook on a flame or in a microwave. So I'll explain it in just a moment. But first I'll sprinkle some drops of ghee in here and then I'll start preparing the papad. Okay, so I've added the ghee on top, and as you can see, since the khichdi is nice and warm, the ghee is already starting to melt. So of course, if you're trying to make it the vegan way, you can skip that step. Also, if you have fresh coriander, now is the time to sprinkle it on the top. But let's get to preparing the papads. So these are the papads that you have to kind of make on the open flame. So if you have a hot plate like I have, what you can do is to put it on the hot plate and keep flipping it on both sides to cook it on both sides, which is what I'm going to do. In case if you have an induction plate, then this method doesn't work. This method only works for a hot plate or for a regular gas stove. So in case if you have induction plate or any other form of cooking utensils where this is not feasible, what you can do is you can take one of these papads, take a glass and roll the papad. Be careful, it is quite brittle, so it can break easily. So roll it inside the glass and throw it inside the microwave, and you can bake it inside the microwave as well. It tastes equally good. So I'm going to do it on the hot plate of mine, and that would be the last step, and then I can get to eating the khichdi. So this was it, a very delicious mixed lentil and rice khichdi recipe from the Indian cuisine. Like I said in the beginning of the video, typically this comes to mind when you have a bad digestion problem, or if you have fever, or if you're sick or feeling weak. Because this is very easy to digest and it's high in nutritional value. It has all the immunity boosting spices, it has the lentils, so it's high in proteins as well. You can even pair it with yogurt. If you have some, for example, after fever, you have a sort of bitter or bad taste in your mouth because of all the medications. So sometimes you can even pair it with the Indian pickle. All in all, it is a very good combination of nutritious diet and easy to cook recipes. For me, because I don't have a pressure cooker, so to bring it to the porridge-like consistency, as I showed you, it took about 1 to 1.5 hours. Normally it takes about 50 minutes for me to cook just regular rice. And of course with brown rice, it takes longer time to get it to that consistency. Typically in India, we would have used the pressure cooker for this. So if you have a pressure cooker at home, or even a slow cooker, in the Western houses I've found they have slow cookers. So if you have, for example, for lamb, boiling the lamb or softening the lamb and so on. If you have one of those, you can even use the slow cookers for breaking this, for making the khichdi. Do give it a shot. Let me know how it turns out for you, and if you like this recipe, and if you want to see other recipes like these recipes are very easily customizable for vegan options, or if you want to add other taste makers to it. If you're adding yogurt, I would recommend not just adding plain yogurt, but also mixing it with mint chutney if you have that readily available with you, because that enhances the taste even further. So this was it for today's recipe. Now I'm gonna go enjoy my khichdi before it cools down. I hope you like this recipe and other videos in this series. Be sure to like and share my videos with others foodies, and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification and turn on all notifications so that you're notified as soon as my next video goes live. This is Rustic Wanderer signing off. Take care.